in Canberra over the weekend doing the mission appeal to the parish there at Kippax. It was a very nice weekend. Parish priest was very hospitable, and the people and all the ministers of the parish were very helpful and very competent. So that was a good little part of our mission. I want to turn today to a treatment of leadership, which is an important part of the life of the church and of society. My first thought when I was preparing this was to say, who would want to be particularly a political leader today? Very, very difficult situation. Whatever you do, you're going to be wrong, and there'll be someone to criticise. And in that, who would want to be a business leader today, trying to guess what was going to come, and many other types of leadership. So we're living in difficult times, so leadership is difficult. Tell a little story first. One of our MSC priests who was in Papua New Guinea for many years, I was talking to him one day, and I guess being young and critical of many things, I said, as part of our conversation, who would want to be a bishop? What a difficult job. Better to remain a parish priest and to serve the diocese in other ways, but who would want to be a bishop? He was quiet for a moment, and then he said, I did once. And I said, why? And he said, I thought I could make a difference. And he probably could have. He didn't become a bishop. Somebody else became a bishop at the time, and life went on, and he was okay with that. But a leader needs to be able to make a difference, and hopefully leaders are there in order to do that. As we know, there are many different types of leadership. In Papua New Guinea, where I was for many years, traditionally there were basically two types of leadership. One was a chieftain system, where the chieftainship was hereditary. The eldest son of the chief became the chief. There were some variations in that, but that was basically what it was. And the other way was the big man system, which was very strong in the Highlands, that you had to prove yourself to be a big man. It wasn't hereditary, but if a man was strong and active and did all the right things and was able to do well for the people, then they recognised him as a big man. So that set up also, as you would guess, different sort of political systems. In regard to the traditional leadership, I was discussing it once with some chiefs, with a chief, and I said, what if the son of the chief is really not a leader? In fact, what if he's really rather stupid? Does he become the leader? And this chief said, yes, of course, he becomes the leader. He's the son of the chief. But I said, what if he can't lead? What if he's just a stupid fellow? What do you do then? And he smiled and said, we don't listen to him. But in that system too, you might be the hereditary chief, but you had to prove yourself to be a good chief. Now, it was done in various ways, but you had to prove yourself, and then people could say, now we have a chief. Now we know who we are. I thought that was very important. That the people, if they have a good leader, a good chief, they know who they are. So it's a lot of strains to that consideration. And as we know, in society, there are many different levels of leadership, from the, I suppose, the global level to the national level, national leaders, right down through the ranks to our local council. Also, there's leaders in all our clubs, sporting clubs, social clubs, many things where there's leaders. And people are chosen because they show some ability, or they have a vision, or have some ideas, some way that they might advance the cause of whatever group it is. So there's the different levels of leadership. Mostly in the Western world, we have elected leaders. Other places still don't have that. And of course, in many other nations, around the world, the leadership is proving to be less than perfect and less than adequate. And many people are rising up against the political leaders and saying, we have had enough. We want better leaders. We want a better administration of the country and all the other issues associated with it. So people want good leaders, and they are prepared, not like some in Papua New Guinea at that time, just not to listen to them, but to actively advocate that they change. So leaders carry a great responsibility in that position. People also carry a responsibility for their leaders, to elect their leaders, and if their leaders are not adequate, to call them to account. I want to just give you a couple of questions that you might take with you during the coming days about leadership. In your community, what sort of leadership do you experience? Now that might be the political leaders or community leaders or whatever. What sort of leadership do you experience? What style of leadership do you wish to have? And if you are a leader, how do you exercise your leadership? Just some things to consider. Have a good day on mission. We'll see you again.